Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spit It Out podcast. My name is Eric.
Ashley.
JC.
And Joey.
Welcome back to the Spit It Out podcast. This week, I watched a really good movie. Not the first time I've watched it, but every time I watch it, it really moves me, it really inspires me. And it's called Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
Oh, I haven't seen that
nice
in a long
movie.
time.
Yeah.
Great movie. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I don't know how, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's about, basically, long story short, someone who's on the brink of bankruptcy, and wife leaves him, has a son, and he basically goes against all odds and gets his Series 7 and becomes a broker, and then down the road, becomes a multimillionaire partner of a firm. Right? I mean, it's a true story. You can look it up.
Yes.
It's true.
But it sees the journey from poverty and, basically wearing the same suit every single day and things like that, into, only having $21 in your bank account. And, I mean, these are extreme levels of poverty, but still had the willpower, the desire, the motivation, determination to defeat all his adversity. And I don't know.
And still raise his kid.
And still take care of his kid.
Because that's still a lot.
That is right.
It was an amazing story. And it really inspired me. I was like, wow, did I have it fucking good? Man, it's crazy.
That's good. That actually reminds me, for my week, things have been kind of an emotional roller coaster. And despite that, one of the things I had thought about was maybe it's time for me to watch Inside Out again. Because that movie literally is about emotions and how they're battling with each other, of how a person should respond to something, how they should act on something, or how it affects other people because of those emotions. And I'm like, yeah, I remember it being a very emotional, dare I say, movie when I first saw it. It's Pixar. Of course they're going to do that. But it's been such a long time, but I do remember it being very thoughtful, very meaningful, that I should watch that sometime soon.
Yeah.
And that's true, because you get so used to what you have that you forget to be grateful for those things, because you really forget.
Well said.
Absolutely.
It's like the other day, Ashley and I, we were talking about this, being grateful, because I told her, sometimes I cook like my mom used to cook me, just so simple, no big things, because I want my kids to appreciate someday, to be grateful with the person that cooks for them.
Oh yeah.
Because, for example, I asked the question to Ashley. I was like, let's say you were born rich, and you were always to the fancy restaurants. You've been to all over the world, the best food served to you. Mm-hmm. Is that gonna something in 5 or 10 years? Then someone else makes something else to you, is gonna amaze you, or you're gonna feel like, it's just something else? Or now, when you grew up eating, I don't know, just chicken or
it definitely desensitizes you to something that is great. Like having a home cooked meal, whether it's a fucking grilled cheese sandwich or your mom just made homemade Chinese food. That's what my mom did.
Right.
Fucking delicious. But anyway. It desensitizes you. You think that it's the norm to get served, 5-star food, right?
Yeah.
And then when someone doesn't meet that standard, it's okay. But you don't know what the fuck that person went through to make that for you, right? They thought about you. They're like, all right, what is this person like? They did the prep, the cooking, and because I've witnessed it. I grew up in a pretty wealthy town, I would say, and North Caldwell has, they have huge houses, and then pretty normal size houses to me. Normal,
pretty moderate.
But what's normal house size to me could be a mansion to someone else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've grown up with kids who I thought were spoiled. Got the brand new 2000. I was a senior for 2014, so 2014 brand new Corvette and this and that, and one kid wrecked his car, got in an accident. Dad bought him a brand new one, really the next day, right? I was very grateful for my Mercedes. It was a 2002, but it's still a Mercedes. Anyway, but I was raised different, and I was always told that no matter what, besides the essential things, food, water, shelter, everything else is a luxury that you have to work for and be appreciative of, which is the same concept that JC is, showing his kids.
Yeah. Because you see, the other day we went to this restaurant, and that's when I realized all this. Because the food was so good, then at the moment, I was thinking about the person that cooked it and everything. I was like, thank you very much. You took your time, whatever you did. What I know you did with this food with passion, because it was so good. And that's when you appreciate what you other people can have and offer you. You just need to learn to be humble too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, a lot goes into cooking.
Yeah.
Like, not just the food and how it tastes. When you go to a restaurant that they went to, it's about presentation, too. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's an art at that point, right?
Exactly.
Another movie that came to my mind, Burnt, with Bradley Cooper.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be perfect. If you're at that level of culinary masterpieces, like you're a professional chef, your mind, you can't just throw food on a plate, and I'm sure it tastes great, but in your mind, it has to look picture perfect. Like, everything's going to be Instagram worthy. Right. Even the fucking water. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's just a level of perfection that they reached. Yeah.
It's something that says, hey, as long as the food's in front of me, I really want to eat that because of, of how it's brought to you. A lot of that I had learned personally. I mean, not that I didn't learn it from my family. I definitely, respect my mom for making all the meals, and still to this day, even, getting the food for our family. But I definitely learned it a lot, especially in first person, when I was in Boy Scouts, because this was my own peers. These were, I was making the food sometimes, and usually our rule with that, much like you said it before, Eric, if one person's making the food, the other people are cleaning the food or cleaning the utensils, all that kind of stuff.
Or so someone sets a table or something.
Exactly.
You all play
there's a fair trade between them. And that was something that's like, well, there's a lot that goes into it about, what materials do you get? How much do you use? Do you add a flavor to it? Do you add is there a certain way that the food is cooked, that someone likes more than something else, especially for like a meat or something that could be harder.
Well, if you're a vegetarian.
Or if you're vegetarian,
right?
Exactly.
You gotta change everything at that point. So I mentioned before the movie Burn, right? And there's a part in the movie where Bradley Cooper said, I don't care. Well, that's the actor, but his character was saying how I think what happened in the situation was one of the servers took a dish that wasn't fully ready and brought it out because they were very busy. You just get the person their food and and then I guess there was a complaint, and then he's the head chef and he heard. He knows everything that happens in that kitchen, right? And he goes, if it's not ready, we throw it out and we make a new one. I don't care how busy it is. If it's not perfect, it doesn't go out. So that's the level of expertise that he's bringing to give that customer or client, whatever you want to call it, person, the guest, I think is the proper term, the guest, the experience that they expect to have at that restaurant.
It's about quality, and that you're actually considerate for the customer that's ordering, that they're even in the restaurant, and that you're serving food to them. They could probably get the same food elsewhere, and it could be completely different in how it tastes, or the fact that you made it quick does not make it as tasty.
Yeah. I mean, even the names of these restaurants, right? So, I mean, I don't know any fancy restaurant names. The fancy restaurant in my mind is Capitol Grill, and that's not even like, that's not even remotely close to these level of, establishments. And your expectations on your food changes by the name, right? You hear McDonald's, you're not going to be picky. Whatever the fuck they give you, you're going to eat it, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, oh, the cheese wasn't whatever,
Yeah.
Then you go somewhere like Houlihan's or TJ Fridays or something like that. You expect it to be a little bit better, but you might complain here and there. Maybe they forget the dressing or they put ranch instead of blue cheese, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go to what I think is a great restaurant, is Capitol Grill. I'm expecting like the service of like the year, because we go like once a year, anniversary or Mother's Day or something, like a special occasion.
Oh yeah.
To a place like that. and I'm thinking like, all right, I expect my steak to look like this. Like if I take a photo of it, I need no filter, and it's going on Instagram.
Yeah.
That kind of, you expect those kind of things based on whether it's reviews that you've seen or word of mouth, like, oh yeah, try this restaurant's really good, or like I said, the name, like McDonald's, I'm like, all right, whatever. Capitol Grill, I'm like, well, wait a second. I'm expecting some amazing shit, and they always came through clutch. I mean, I love that place. It's expensive though. It's fucking $50 a steak.
Okay.
But
But it's worth it.
it is.
It is
really
worth the
is.
picture for Instagram, right?
Absolutely. Do it for the
That's
gram.
$50.
You know the phone.
That's a $50 Instagram picture.
You know the phone eats first.
Oh yeah.
The phone always eats first.
Jerry.
But this week has been, been doing a lot of thinking, and because last week I know I mentioned, and even the week before, there's a lot on my mind. Still is, but this week I decided to change it up a little bit, and I started watching movies. I love movies. I'm a big movie fan. And I said I saw Pursuit of Happiness, and then I was on TikTok, and it still relates to movies because I saw this montage of different lines and stuff from Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And it made me think, like, as a kid and even, an adult, Marvel has a tremendous fan base.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to ask you guys what you think. This is what I thought, but what do you think, like, when you see these movies, why do you love them so much? Not because we're all nerds, and you're not a nerd because Marvel is fucking amazing. We're not sponsored, but it's the fact that, well, what do you think? What draws you to them?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind with a lot of movies, especially ones I grew up with, I think of the action, and I think of the visual aspect of it. Sometimes the music or something with it. The dialogue parts usually fall out of my head right away. But as I've grown older, and if I've rewatched these movies, I appreciate them a lot more. That there's actually some careful writing into them of how characters interact with each other, why they're doing all those action scenes, or what they represent. That actually fills out a lot more of the movie, makes a lot more sense of it than just watching fight scenes at random.
On the superhero movies, usually what I like is because the way they project the space, the universe,
Oh, yeah.
like the nebulas and everything, like for example on the Doctor Stranger when he goes to at the end of the movie to fight to the infinity or whatever the
Dormammu. Yeah.
it is, and the way they vision it, the way it looks, I'm like, that's what attracts me for those movies.
I agree 100% with everything that you both said, for sure. But I've thought about it, because like I said, I was doing a lot of thinking, right? Yes, the action's awesome. The visual effects are great. The amplitude of their imagination that you see on screen, like, who thought that this universe can expand to 3 different universes? Or
Yeah,
even,
exactly.
even in the movie Ant-Man, how you go subatomic into quantum realm. Like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
All amazing
Yeah.
stuff.
And the stakes. That's also important. That you're actually building up like, hey, this is a big deal. This is
Yeah.
going to cause a lot of problems
Yeah.
if we don't solve this.
I mean,
Yes.
Not
Marvel,
just, yeah.
yeah, but Marvel did that tremendously. Like, from Iron Man, who began, rest in peace, to Endgame, every movie correlated with the one before and the one after.
Right.
Because that's why, after credits and like a little, sneak peek, like
Yeah.
things like that. And but what I loved about it, besides all the things that you all just said, I thought about it this way too. It's like these movies give you hope, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good guy always wins. He might lose, but then he always, the next movie or whatever, he comes back and wins. It gives you hope because it makes you like wonder, like, is there a hero in all of us in some kind of way?
Yeah.
Right? I think it inspired me. Like, when I was thinking about this, after hearing the montage, I, like, for some reason I felt like I had to do something more. Like, looking at Captain America and what he does, and, Thor, the Hulk,
Yeah.
and all that. And then you wonder, like, well, what's my superpower? I'm not talking about flying. I'm not talking about, throwing a hammer 1,000,000 miles an hour through a brick wall and, taking out 3 bad guys. Everyone has their own superpowers. Now I'm thinking about it. And that's what Stan Lee, rest in peace, he came up with all these characters based all the characters from human emotion.
Oh, definitely.
That's why you can relate to, like, everyone loves Spider-Man. Why love Spider-Man? Because he's a teenager. Spider-Man's a teenager. He's going through the same teenage shit.
Yeah, he's got, like, special talents and juggling that with all the daily responsibilities we all know.
You know, and then you got Captain America, one of my favorites, is he always had to deal with, especially in the movie Captain America Civil War, morals. What's right and wrong. Right. And that's different for a lot of people. Right? We might all agree that, you know, murder is wrong. But the little nitty-gritty details might be a little bit different between each of us.
Yeah, or putting up situations.
Yeah, because it's true. Everything means something different for everybody.
Like, you know, the one question everyone's asked, like, oh, would you steal a loaf of bread to feed your family? Well, it's stealing. That's wrong. But you gotta feed your family. Like, So, anyway, I was thinking, like, what's my superpower? How can I give back? How can I inspire? And it made me think of this podcast. It made me think of all the motivational videos that I used to do on Instagram and stuff. And it's like, I think that was, you know, a little bit of my superpower, of being able to, you know, talk and try to motivate people.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why I love these movies, because then it's like, I don't know, I just feel like you always get that feeling. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but in the movie Endgame, when all the portals started opening up and all the good guys came back, right? And Thanos is standing there with his army and Captain America's by himself, and the next thing you know, he has a whole army behind Captain America. I got chills. Like, I was like, I was so pumped. I was like, oh, let's fucking go. Like, this is going to be epic, you know?
It was great.
You just couldn't help but smile because the good guys are back.
Yeah.
And there's more to it than that, because it's like, when that time comes in your life, when you got to stand up for yourself, or stand up for someone else who's getting bullied or something like that, like, will you do it? Like, will you be the good guy that arrives?
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I've been ranting for the last 10 minutes or so about it, but that's why I like these movies, because it makes you wonder, like, obviously those are extreme examples of, you know, Thanos and this and that, but it relates to real life. Like, would you ever stand up for the little guy?
That's true.
You know, things like that. Then you become a hero to him. You know, even if it's just as simple as, hey, leave the kid alone. Or leave him alone. You never know. You never know.
I agree.
That's true.
I remember listening to a video essay on YouTube. I'll see if I can send it to you guys because it's really good. That just focuses on Thor's journey throughout the Marvel movies. And this is getting back to what I said before about the dialogue. That, yeah, maybe at first when you watch it, you don't want to listen to all the nitty-gritty, you know, everyday talk or whatever. But there's a lot of character development in all those moments. You know, it's more than just the punches that are deciding what actions or how they believe in something and who they're interacting with, like what kind of relationships those are. And just looking at that through just one superhero, or even Thor, and yes, even including Dark World, it means a lot because you see that there's a rise and fall and a redemption to him throughout like 5-6 movies. including like the main Avengers movies, you know, with the rest of the crew, you know.
There's a thing I remember learning about in high school was all these epic films, epic stories. Mm-hmm. The protagonist always hits his low point somehow.
Oh yeah.
But then he always comes back, and you see that repetitively. And
there's got to be a change to him.
There's got to be a change in him that makes him more, you know, courageous or.
But that's pretty much on every movie.
Every movie. Even Pursuit of Happiness, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You hit the bottom.
You hit the bottom and you
came back, and you can't help but connect with that character, love that character, support that character. You know, Iron Man even. He got captured. Mm-hmm. Then he came back and changed the fucking world and made the Avengers. Let's go, boys. Yep. But like,
see, movie fighters, like the Fighter. Have you ever watched the movie Fighter?
Yeah.
The way he was, you know, and after that he fell, and after that he came back and everything and started escalating again. He started training different.
Yeah.
All those movies also the same.
Even the movie Southpaw. Remember that?
Yeah. See.
His wife
was
died.
On the top and everything.
He was on the top. His wife got murdered. He went depression, lost his kid. Then he came back again.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't. And that's natural in life because trouble is gonna make you grow.
Exactly.
Or you're gonna take the second option, lay you down.
Yeah,
but that's up to you how you wanna respond.
I mean, I've said this quote before. You know, Rocky, great movie. Also, you know, he always says it's not about how hard you can hit; it's how hard you get hit and get back up.
And back up, exactly. Uh-huh.
And it also shows that people change. It shows that not everyone is going to be the same way forever. There are things that are going to change us, that are going to challenge us, and maybe things we want to pursue beyond what we wanted before, you know?
Well, even, I don't know, I just thought about this now. Like, in Iron Man, like, before when he was Iron Man 1 and all that, before he got captured, he was a playboy, philanthropist,
he was totally
money.
I hated watching him.
Right? I loved it, though. I thought it was awesome. Like, I want that kind of life. Right,
yeah.
But then he gets captured, and he changes his entire mindset because he saw his guns being used on the good guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what the fuck is this happening? I gotta change it, right? Then you fast forward, that character changed throughout all the Avengers and Captain America Civil War and all the Iron Mans to the point where he was ready to give his own life to bring things back to normal when he snapped his finger saying, I am Iron Man. Right?
Right.
The old Iron Man from Iron Man 1 probably wouldn't have done that.
Right.
At all.
You see, but that's the same for life, okay? Because last year I wasn't, like, not thinking about recording the four of us right now, right here, Right, so right now, right here, doing this, it can be preparing us for something else, For example, you know, whatever career you're gonna follow, or business, it can help you out right now. The way you're expressing yourself and everything is helping you out in your mind, preparing you. Also for show.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's getting prepared for you.
Sure.
And that's what I love about this.
I never thought I would be doing a podcast.
I'm telling you.
Whether it blows up or not, like we're doing this, right? And I never thought I would. And having these kind of talks and conversations week to week, and knowing that I have to come up with something different each week. Not just me, but I'm saying like, for like when I say, oh, this week I experienced, I want to say the same thing, restaurant. So it forces me to look at other areas.
Yeah, and explore.
Yeah.
Explore and I never thought I'd think of Marvel movies like as deep as I just brought it.
Oh yeah.
Because before I was like that. I mean, all the action's dope, dialogue's pretty cool, the character plot and all that's pretty cool, but the deeper meaning in it is like, whoa.
Yeah, now you see meaning in something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's good. You see.
And that goes for me too. I mean, I always considered the idea of having a podcast, especially when I've done a lot of YouTube in the past and still doing some now. I didn't know exactly how I was going to go about it, if it was even going to be about the hobbies or things I was already enjoying, or if it was going to be a completely different direction, kind of like this is. And I was okay with this. Even when we started, I was just going to be the guy in the chair, just monitoring all the equipment, making sure everything's recording smoothly.
Now it's my job.
Well, now, first of all, now it's your job, and thank you. But now I'm actually here with a microphone.
But
I'm
yeah,
actually talking
all
with the
jokes
rest
aside,
of you. I'm opening up more than I usually do, and not just to each other, but to anyone that's listening.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
hopefully
that's another
that's
thing. Like,
helping other people.
I never thought, that Joey neglecting his editing job. No, I'm kidding. I took the role because I thought it'd be easier for me to do it since I have the equipment here and whatever. But that's besides the point. Because of this podcast, I learned, how to do sound mixing. Yeah. I mean, not like a DJ, but like I know how to do the dirt basics on how to make things, merge them together, make it sound better, or take some of the stuff out without really affecting the flow of the conversation. I mean, we're on episode 9 of season 2.
You know what's funny also? Right now that Joe was telling all that, I was thinking also, and Joe, last year he wasn't imagining himself doing a podcast surrounded by American Chinese, an American Dominican, and a Mexican.
That's the beauty of this, and that's why Spit It Out came to life. I mean, it's all because of Ashley. She gave us, that little push that we needed to get this going.
She did it.
And like I said, we're on season 2, episode 9, right? I'm not saying, we're not doing this to blow up and become, podcast famous and make, I mean, that'd be nice.
Then it happens, it would be nice.
If it happens, it'd be nice, but there's so much more meaning behind it. And as Juan/JC just said, he's Mexican, Ashley's American Dominican, I'm American/Chinese, and Joe's American, right?
Italian,
but it's 4 different people with different experiences, different opinions, different backgrounds, different personalities.
Yeah, it's real difference,
And we're able to talk about a lot of things. Like I said, season 2, episode 9, we talked about a lot of shit. And
it's true. We have talked a lot of things, but also we get along with everything, because we always try to communicate out there, to educate and also to have fun. You know, also I was checking on the news and I'm really concerned, you know, about this in New Zealand, about the earthquakes. You
Earthquakes.
know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's been really, really bad over there. You know, I saw the on Friday was one earthquake on the 1.1 and two more than 7.2,
Oh,
7.3,
fuck.
something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
tough.
that is tough, you know, and there were a lot alerts for tsunamis and everything. And right now I was checking the news and the latest things, and they don't really say that much, you know. What is really concerned, you know, because we don't know what's really going on in the world, you know. A lot of things are happening also, but I always say also, this being all these natural disasters have been going on all our lives, you know.
Yeah.
Just because now we have the communication to pass it over, you know, right away.
Yeah.
We can right now, like for example, in New Zealand, happen something in 1 minute, you know, it's another side like Russia, or even here in the USA, you know. So right away we know now. Back in the day, it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah. You would think
So-
it. You would think like it's only me.
Me,
Mhm.
but no, and that's why sometimes I see a lot of people get stressed out more because now everything is over, you know. You find out everything about right away. And as I say, you know, that's for me been a concern because also I started doing some research and I remember seeing this also in the school, in geography school, that right now where the earthquakes were, those are volcanoes too. And I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but it goes like...
Oh, like the Ring of Fire.
Uh-huh. Yes, I don't know how to say in English.
Yeah, that's that.
Exactly.
I've heard the
Uh-huh.
term as Ring of Fire.
Oh, Rain of Fire? No, I didn't know that one.
I know Ring of Fire
Yeah.
as a drinking game.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
look-
that too.
yeah, I was looking for that chain of volcanoes.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
But here's the thing. It's interesting because the Earth's been through a lot. Even before like the first human, happened. Dinosaurs, and even
Yeah.
before that and everything. And
Through lots of
you never
civilizations.
know. Like there could be an earthquake right outside my door right now, and this place just collapses, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's
we're
it.
done.
And it's interesting because it makes you wonder. I know like the Earth has been through so much, from, meteors hitting it, and, climate change all the time, and then people are freaking out when you don't recycle. Like you think like some plastic bags and shit are gonna really affect the planet. Like they'll figure it out. Like the Earth is always gonna be evolving and changing.
Yeah.
Right? Even when we're long gone, it's gonna like that's how nature is.
Yeah, there wasn't always an ozone layer, and there
Yeah.
wasn't
No.
always a breathable
No.
air for
No, it wasn't.
for land mammals,
Right.
And
Things
now we
will-
have it, and now we got a couple changes here and there in it.
Well, we want to preserve it as much as we can so that we can still enjoy it.
Right.
Right? I sound selfish, but that's what it is. Okay? I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying that I disagree with it. I think it's a little ridiculous sometimes when people freak out when you litter, or they go to the extremes like, oh, you got to pick up every little thing of garbage. Like a little gum wrapper ain't gonna destroy the planet. Right? Relax. Can we work on it in regards to cleaner air and things like that? Yeah, of course.
Yes, we can, and that's
Yes, we
when you
can,
care.
absolutely,
And
like-
that's when you care.
Things that are major that need to be fixed, cleaner air, less pollution, things like that. That's very important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do everything you can. Throw more money in it. Get better research. Do this, do that, to make it as healthy as possible, for sure. But then you get the extreme people, like I said, who pick up the little gun wrappers and freak out. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's how they are, okay? And what you
that's
gonna
how
do?
it is,
Huh?
That's how it
Everybody's is happy however they want to. Like I always tell my kids, what if it doesn't bother you, it bothers me. What if it doesn't bother me, it bothers you. It's back and forward. That's how it is.
Yeah, I mean the Earth.
Seriously.
The Earth is a beautiful thing, and it's always gonna
Yeah, man, bro.
it's always gonna clean itself and then start over. Clean itself and start over until it
Yeah,
dies
and,
out.
And it is true. You
Right.
know, it cleans himself up.
Yeah.
And it's gonna continue doing it
And what-
all the rest of whatever long it's gonna be.
Why do you
here.
think there are earthquakes and volcanoes? And because the Earth's like, all right, we need more land, right? When a volcano goes off in the ocean, it's hot, right?
Yeah.
But by the time it reaches the surface, it cools enough to make more land.
Yeah, because it's all
Solidifies.
Yeah.
solidifies exactly.
Right. Why do you think, there's species being extinct, but hey, we just found a new species?
Yep.
Yeah, because
Because it
everything
had
is
to
evolving.
adapt
It's continuous
and
evolving.
evolve to, survive that climate or whatever.
It always fascinates me when there are species found that survive like extreme temperatures, whether it's hot or cold. And it's like, dang. Like I know that's not everybody can do that, but it's incredible how.
Well, not even hot and cold, but also
yeah.
if you go in the ocean, the pressure.
Well, yeah, pressure too.
Right? There's God knows what's millions of miles down. I don't believe in a lot of things. I don't believe in religion personally. I don't conspiracies and supernatural and all that crap. I don't believe in it. I think it's ridiculous. When it comes to science, right, and environment, that I believe in, right. When it comes to space, I'm sure there's aliens out there. There's no God-given right that we're the only living things in this entire universe.
Right.
Yeah, if you're going to space and you're going to the depths of the ocean, it's the same mystery. Like, what's out there and what's down there.
Right.
And I just find that fascinating that, when people are saying, oh, this is probably gone or this doesn't, exist, I'm like, you don't know.
Well, for this week, I've been going through a lot of stuff that I have, trying to reorganize it, and I've been going through a lot of old memories, like stuff that's been in storage for a long time that most people just shove away in an attic, never look at again until they gotta move or do something else. But I've went through boxes upon boxes of stuff, and I remember, it, not exactly that it just happened yesterday, but still vividly enough that it meant something to me still. That it was like, okay, this isn't just some other homework assignment from, second grade or whatever. It's like, no, this is a picture I drew of me trying to, do a self-portrait, for a little bit more meaningful than that. In that same picture, I learned I still can't draw. All this time later, many drawings and one or two life drawing classes, actually drawing realistic people in front of me, or other classmates. I still can't draw people, but at least I'm better than drawing just a triangle from a nose. Like I had there.
How you try to draw the faces? Because the other day I was watching this TikTok and how some people draw faces above circles.
Yeah, that's what
and it was really interesting.
That's what I've been told. I just haven't practiced it enough, and I usually draw on the more cartoony side and not as realistic as many others. Or if I do, it gets weirdly angular. It's sometimes asymmetrical, where I'm like, I don't know why I can draw an ear good this side and it's a blob on this side. I remember that I used to write. I used to have ones for school with different assignments, little writing prompts of, if you could travel around the world in a hot air balloon, where would you go? That kind of stuff.
Speaking of travel, spring break.
Hey.
Right? We're at spring break. March is usually late March, mid to late March, people tend to do a spring break thing, right? Yeah. What is spring break? Spring break is time off from school in between school and summer.
Right.
Right? Some people, decide to go home, see their family, say what's up to the hometown. And some people like to go Miami, Cancun, all these different crazy places.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore even, I guess. I don't know why, but
people do it.
People do it, for sure. Yeah. And what an experience. Have you ever done that?
No.
Spring break? No, I never.
Well, he didn't go to college.
You look me straight in the eyes and think that I'm a party person? No.
I actually asked him that. All right. Well, I haven't.
No, I've never done it, but I've heard of people who have done it, or they'll get a group of people together, rent a shore house for a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing I did to it was me and Marcos. You all know Marcos. And me and him went down to Florida around this time, 3 years ago or so, 2 or 3 years ago, and great time. Yeah, went to Florida, drank, hung out, but I didn't go to the beaches or anything where everyone else was, where they're partying like crazy. I saw my cousins, so I did a hybrid of a extreme spring break and a more conservative spring break. And
what do you mean more conservative spring break?
Some people just go home and relax. Some people like to,
Oh.
And then some people like to go to Cancun and party, drink, smoke, do drugs, whatever, and just, for the whole week or weekend, whatever. So, But now that's COVID. Do people still do this? Are they going to go? Are they going to go to these crazy, spring break events and risk of getting COVID? Florida's basically a spring break 24/7.
That's what I want to say. Florida's open all year because that's what I condemn doing.
They don't really care down there. And, that's their state. I'm not knocking it, but I'm not going to lie. I'm a little upset about it, not because of health reasons, because of FOMO. They look like they're having so much fucking fun, and I'm sucking in my fucking living room playing video games or sleeping or going to, work and coming home. They're out on yachts, they're partying, they're having a good-ass time. I don't know the numbers down there for COVID, but spring break being what's happening now, in March and April, whatever. Let's treat it like a New Year's, Super Bowl, and Thanksgiving kind of event.
What?
Let's treat it like a New Year's event,
okay.
Thanksgiving event, Christmas and Super Bowl. Have fun. Do what you want to do, have fun. But keep it within reason. And I'm not saying, if you want to smoke and weed and drink, go ahead and have it. But within reason, as in don't have a million people. 3 or 4 close friends, you want to hang out in the backyard at a bonfire and fucking smoke, a joint or two and then drink a couple beers, great.
Yeah.
All for it.
Yeah.
You can still experience, time off and spring break and things like that without having a giant banger. That's what
That is true, Also, everything will be caution.
Did you see 22 Jump Street?
I did.
Remember how they went to spring break and everyone's partying and all that? That's basically, that's a little extreme more because it's Hollywood, but imagine that in Florida. Like what you see in Florida. That's spring break.
Oh, yeah.
That's spring break.
Yeah, on the yachts and the beach and the drinking and the dancing and all that. Great time. But not the time for it because of COVID.
A lot of this, speaking of smoking.
And sex. A lot of sex in spring break.
Speaking of smoking, when was the last time you guys smoked?
The last time I smoked?
The first time you guys
Last time I
smoked.
smoked was 20 minutes ago.
We're going back 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, my God.
The first time I smoked was, speaking of smoking, one more thing, I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
legal in Jersey.
Oh yes, it's legal in
Okay,
Jersey.
it's legal in Jersey. All right. The first time I smoked was in college, freshman year, and when I went to University of Albany, New York.
Oh really?
It's the first
Okay.
time.
How you feel?
Wait, no. Fuck me, I did it in high school.
Yeah, high school?
First time I did it in high school, I think it was a junior.
Okay.
Yeah.
How-
Yeah,
how
that's
did you
correct.
feel?
That's correct.
How
did
did
I
you feel?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I didn't really know. Some of my friends were like, oh, dude, you're so baked, or you're stoned, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But being that it was my first time smoking, I didn't have anything to compare that feeling to. So I didn't really know or feel like I was until the second and third time I smoked,
Okay.
where it's like, oh, I felt this before when doing this, drug. And,
Yeah.
oh, now I know what it feels like because I remember it. And it's like, oh, yep, I'm high right now.
Yeah, for me, I was 15 years old and
15?
yeah,
Oh, decent.
and
Damn.
I didn't hear 5-0.
I heard 5-0.
it was my neighbor. He used to plant it. He used to have these beautiful, beautiful plants, nice and green, and he rolled it up and everything. And I started smoking with him, but it was green. It wasn't dry or anything like that. And when I finished smoking with him, I just remember being sitting, and when I stand up, I felt like my feet, I couldn't stand on the floor. I was like floating. Actually.
I've had that before.
And I was like, and I used to step on the floor, and I used to stomp. And I was like, what the hell? I can feel me hitting the floor, And I remember running home, and I was like feeling like I was floating. I was like, so.
What about you, Joe? Have you ever smoked the green? The little
Let's see.
Mary Joanna? You're counting all the times you've done it. Nice.
Yeah, right.
Cigarette?
That's what all the tapping models was. It's like
1, 2.
5 times. Yeah, how long? Well, how long have I been since the last one? Yeah, no. No, I'm very vanilla. The only time I can remember that I've smoked was around 2016, 2017. A friend of mine, I was going to conventions with, with Lego displays and things like that. He offered it to me after one of the convention days or whatever. Like I don't even think it was like a public day. It was just kind of a setup day. So it's like, okay, we can just chill out, hang out for a while into the night. Not gonna worry about having to wake up early the next morning for the public days for the displays.
Mhm.
I don't remember feeling that much different, although he claims that I had. But all I remember that I was with a whole bunch of people. We basically passed around one between, I think, 3 of us, maybe 4 of us. And
That's usually the standard. Like
yeah.
3 to 4 people, 1 or 2 in your...
Yeah. I had no idea how to do it, even though I was shown how to do it, and I was still just coughing everything up. I was like...
Well, yes, if you're coughing hard, that means it's really hitting your lungs.
Yeah.
Right? So you're good on that.
Lose your lungs.
The first time I hit off a bong, I did that. I was dying. I was like coughing my brains out. Like
I still.
It was pre-COVID. That's what it sounded like. That's how much I was coughing, right? All jokes aside, like COVID's awful, but yeah, I was bad. And then the first time I did an edible. Dad, if you're still listening, please stop. And I had the edibles. They treat you eat them 45 minutes later or so. It kicks in because now you digested it.
Yeah, the first time I had edible, I didn't know it was that. No, my freaking friend, he had these brownies, and he was like, "I brought brownies." I was like, "Okay." It was strange for me for this gathering between males, so I'm gonna bring fucking brownies. Like after 30 minutes, I started feeling like my head, like something is spinning inside. I was like, "What the hell? Are these fucking drug? They fucking rape me? What the fuck?" Yeah, because.
You got roofied.
Yeah, seriously. And also, guys, one thing, okay, I don't want you to think we're promoting out there to smoke weed, for any man who's listening to this, It's not like we promoting to this, It's just we're talking about this because we want to tell you our experience, how we feel and everything. That's all. It's just a chat.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we talk about serious topics, just like when we talked about the LGBTQ, those are our opinions, right? We didn't mean any offense. Okay, if you got offended, we do apologize. We talked about conspiracies and things like that. We talked about very touchy subjects.
We talked a lot about politics and about different movements throughout the past year.
So we don't want you to think that our opinion means that's how you should be, or you take our opinions too seriously and, you hate us for it. And if you do, that's your opinion. We'll respect you for it. But always keep in mind that you have a right to your own opinion, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're on this podcast or not. But it's though, like I said before, like if you have kindness and respect and understanding for one another, it shouldn't really matter what your opinion is. It shouldn't matter who you love. It shouldn't matter what you believe in or who you support. You should always see that we're all human beings, and we can, with those 3 things that I mentioned, you can love each other, talk about anything, and keep the friction as low as possible. Me, Ashley, Juan, and Joe, we all have different experiences, like I said before in the beginning. And we can do this, we can talk about this, and still remain the closest of friends.
Yep.
So if we can do it, you guys can do it too.
Exactly, Yeah, but it's just up there, guys. We're not putting our beliefs or religions or whatever up to you guys, Like, it's not like, oh, this is the best thing. No.
Yeah, we're not preaching to you our beliefs. That's not what this is.
It's not what it is, It's just the way, we can express ourselves. That's all,
Yeah, we're here to share about it.
Exactly. We're sharing about it, and also for us, where we live, and this is we really believe is like people like us, different grounds. Like if we're gonna repeat it all over because that's who we are, different grounds, different ages, and everything. We still get along, and have a beautiful friendship because that's what it is, This is a brotherhood. See, a sister. We had a sister too, It's just a brotherhood,
That's it. That's all it is. Like take it with a grain of salt, and I'll be honest. If you don't like what we say, you don't have to listen. We're not forcing you to listen either. But if you feel like you can get some kind of motivation out of what you hear from us, or inspiration, or even just learn from some of our own experiences, like who knows, someone out there could be trying weed for the first time or did it recently and they're paranoid about it. And you hear about our experience, like, oh, that's supposed to happen. I don't know. Probably weed wasn't the best idea of a positive impact on someone, but let's say something more along the lines of, when we talked about politics or
we've talked about moving out.
Oh yeah, even like life tips, like moving out, dealing with stress, how to budget. Yeah, we talked about so much. So even if you can take some positive out of it and use it in your life, or even if you're talking to a friend that is going through something, well, you can even say to him, I heard something, I forgot where I heard it, but they were talking about whatever. And then you just passing that knowledge over to someone else to help them, that's huge.
Or to put it in other words, life is a learning experience. And how are you going to learn? You're going to learn from yourself and you're going to learn from others. Whether you talk with them directly or you just see how they are by example. Or doing the example yourself. So the fact that we're sitting here, that we can discuss about our different experiences and share them not only with each other, but also with everyone that gets to listen or wherever they find us, it brings something new to the table. It brings something that we could say, hey, maybe this doesn't always work the same way. And that could be, trying to get the best way out of it, to get the most positive way we can out of it. So everyone can get to enjoy it. Everyone can get to what they want out of it.
That is true, Joe.
I mean, I agree 100%. When it comes down to it, like I said before, you gotta believe in yourself, all right? And you gotta believe that the people that you allow in your life, your family, your friends, your support system, that they got your back and you got theirs. They've taught you through their experiences how to be a good man or woman, And that comes down to what I said about before with Marvel. Like, are you going to stand up for the little guy? Are you going to be that hero for someone?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to spring break, have a good time, stay safe. Listen or not, it's up to you. YOLO or whatever. I don't fucking know what you all say anymore. But if you're going to have a good time, have a good time. If you're going to do it in these crazy atmospheres, environments, stay safe. Because it's not just your life you have to worry about when it comes to COVID. It's also the people that you live with.
Be considerate.
Your parents, yes. And some you might be living with your grandparents, high risk kind of people. You don't want that on your conscience that you brought it back. So just stay positive. Stay
Always
safe
be aware.
and all that for sure.
Yes. All right, guys. And as I said before, it's just the way we express each other, And I love these guys, Ashley, Joe, Eric. I love you. Why? Because I always want to respect you in the way we bond and we get along. Okay, guys?
I love you too.
Believe me.
Too.
You guys out there also, we love each other, Take care of each other. And seriously, it's just all we want to show you is that we are humans. And we have feelings and the same feelings that you share. All right, my friends? Thank you for listening to us.
I'd also like to say that just because spring break is usually a very party, very outdoors atmosphere, does not mean you have to be a part of it if it's not something you're comfortable with. I mean, take it from vanilla guy me. I don't party like that, but I could still know how to enjoy myself, have a good time, and find things that can just make me feel happy and step outside of the work environment or the daily stress. So if you can find something that works for you, even if you're at home, if it's something that's of interest to you, go for it. I'd say, enjoy it the way you can, as long as it's not going to hurt anybody.
That is true.
Sounds great.
And with that, we'll
thank you guys.
See ya.
See you guys next week. Spring break, motherfuckers.